Hi and welcome to Orbit. This is the Google Pixel 7a and I used it for quite some time now. Here is my review. The design of the Pixel 7a is quite similar to the Pixel 7 and 7 Pro, and I do like that. It's minimalistic, timeless and has a high recognition value because of the camera bar. It's no longer made out of plastic but aluminium, and the lenses are therefore protected well. The 7a is now protected against water and it can withstand a depth of 30 meters for 1 hour. When I held it for the first time, my first impression was, oh, that feels high quality. And then my second impression was, because I am a product design nerd, there is a hollow spot under the glass. And my third impression was, is that even glass? It feels like glass, but actually it is high quality plastic. Overall, both the device itself and the display bezels are a bit chunkier than I expected. I think overall this makes the device look cheaper and older than it actually is. From the front, the Pixel 7a looks basically like a Pixel 6a, and that bothered me too. But the display technology has evolved. The 6.1-inch OLED display has a Full HD Plus resolution and now 90 Hz refresh rate. That makes a big difference. Everything feels smoother and faster. Sure, there's also 120 and 144 Hz displays in that price range, but I still think that 90 Hz is such a good compromise. I also like the relative compact size, which is easy to use with one hand, and that the brightness has been increased by 25% to around 1000 nits. In summary, it is a good display wrapped in not so good bezels. Inside, Google relies on their best technology, their own technology, the Google Tensor G2 processor. Instead of focusing on maximum speed, it has an above average amount of artificial intelligence. And that's not just marketing bullshit. The dictation function is nowhere as fast and as intelligent as on the Pixel. And you can erase people from pictures, translate texts offline through the camera and much more. A Google Pixel feels smarter than other smartphones, and I have the strong feeling that Google Bard will enhance that in the future even further. And there will be a lot of software updates. 3 years of Android and 5 years of security updates, and there are the feature drops in between, and you can be a part of the beta phase. The Pixel 7a is well equipped for the future, and the performance is also on flagship level. It doesn't have to hide behind the most expensive smartphones out there, which are almost 1000 euros more expensive. Pure Android is running on the Pixel 7a, and I think that software is extremely pretty, intuitive and even individual. The wallpaper affects the color scheme of the entire system, from the messaging bar to widgets and the keyboard. I think this software is the most user-friendly on the market, even ahead of Apple's iOS. Pixel smartphones are known for their sensational cameras, and Google gives the 7a a new 5 times sharper main sensor with 64 megapixel. But not only that, it's almost 50% bigger and it reflects in the photos. They are sharp, they are bright, they are crisp and colorful. They have that unmistakable Google Pixel look that somehow always captures a scene nicely. In direct comparison to the Pixel 6a, images at night are much shorter exposed, but also more detailed, sharper and accurate. The Pixel 7 and 7 Pro are a bit better again, but the gap is not as big as it used to be. There is a small compromise on the ultra-wide angle, which the normal Pixel 7 also had. There's no autofocus and therefore no macro mode. It's a shame, but apart from that, it's the best ultra-wide angle in this price range. Sharp, colorful and comparable to the main camera. Vivid photos are even possible in low light, which is more than can be said about the competition. Although there's no third camera, a telephoto lens, Google manages to provide an amazingly sharp zoom through clever software tricks. The 2 times magnification looks good and almost lossless. More often than not, I was satisfied. Videos and selfies are also well above average. There is a full image processing applied in Instagram, Snapchat and many more apps. All around, definitely the best camera in the mid-range and even much above more expensive phones. The battery in the Pixel 7a is, brace yourself, a whole 0.6% smaller than in the predecessor. But actually I think it's quite small for such a thick body. But the hope is that newer tech is more efficient and so the battery life is better. But in my case it was not. The first 2 days were with 2.5 hours of screen on time. That is quite bad. The next day was 3.5 hours, and after that it did not get much better. One day when I was only in Wi-Fi, I reached a little bit above 4 hours. The day after that it was only 3 hours again. Maybe that's why the 90 Hz and the always on display are deactivated during setup. In any case, the battery always just lasted for one day. However, the Pixel 7 lasted 30 to almost 40% longer, although the battery is even smaller. Because the 7a also got frequently warm, I can imagine that there is some bug, and when it is fixed, it will improve the battery life. But that's just wild guessing on my part. I will write in the comments if anything happens through software updates. One problem with such average runtime is in general that the smartphone has to be charged more often, so the battery wears out faster, and in 2 years you have 20% capacity less, and that's not good. And speaking of charging, for the first time a Pixel A device can charge wirelessly. Unfortunately, only 18 watts is still possible via the USB-C cable. That's pretty slow. Conclusion: the Pixel 7a costs 50 euros more than the predecessor, so 509 euros. That is quite expensive and pretty close to the Pixel 7. And I personally would pick the Pixel 7 because it's only 50 euros more expensive and is definitely a little bit better in some regards. But there's also the Pixel 6a, which is quite a bit cheaper. But I think that the Pixel 7a will be cheaper too in the future. So I would buy it now with the pre-order bundle, or I would wait until it drops below 400 euros, because then it is still the phone with the best camera and performance in that price range, and I can recommend it if you're not too crazy about battery life.